Recently, we started playing Alan Wake 2. Now, we're only about an hour into it, so this is our first impressions. However, as we continue through the game at the halfway mark and then the finish mark, we will be updating you guys with our review. So let's go ahead and jump on into the first impressions here. Basically, what we see is that this follows a detective who's trying to put together the murders that have, at first they thought was a serial killer, but turns out to be a cult. Basically, the game starts with you playing as this character that gets killed by the cult, and then it switches over to the detective. One of the really nice things that I think they've done here is they've really improved upon the variety of gameplay. We still have the traditional shoot and, action aspects of the game, as well as the controls are fairly similar, and it takes the, really unique and interesting light aspect of the first game and brings it into this one as well. And generally, the other aspects that have been added, though, have to do with the detective side of things. I don't know if you guys have ever played the Sherlock games, but there's like Sherlock, The Awakening, and some of these other ones that are really, really fun. And basically, when you play those, you use pieces of evidence to approach different people with different evidence to try to get new information, or you go and you piece them together in your mind palace in order to get new stuff or figure out what's going on. However, in the Sherlock home games, when you do have the Mind Palace, what it does is it brings up this kind of text-based menu. This text-based menu is fairly simplistic, however, it's a fun way to be able to put together clues and, feel like you yourself are the one that's solving the mystery. It's a cool way to do detective games, and I found that they basically took that system and moved it into this game, but gave it a really big upgrade. Essentially, what we see is that our detective has a mind palace herself, however, you can go into the mind palace and physically explore it. It's literally like a different world when you go into this menu, and so you walk around your cabin or your mind palace and you interact with different aspects, and then you can leave your mind palace to come back to engage with the real world. It's extremely fluid, and I'm really surprised with how well it all plays. I kind of find it funny to think that maybe all the other FBI agents around us sit there and think that we're just staring off into the distance, because you kind of just are sitting there while you put together your mind palace stuff, but it makes it feel very, very immersive and interactive in a way that really I haven't seen before. On top of that, it makes it super satisfying to put together all the clues and find exactly where they go and build out your case. On top of that, it really makes you feel like a real detective and like you're really getting to the bottom of something. On top of that, we basically see that we do have aspects of the first story where we're finding various pages that are telling us about ourselves and what we're going to be going through, and they seem to be once again written by Alan Wake. We seem to be at a lake, probably the same exact lake from the first one, and we see that Deer Fest is coming around again, which they mentioned in the first one as well. Basically, what my theory at the moment is that Alan Wake was taken over by the darkness, because at the end of the first game, spoiler alert if you haven't played it, but it's been out for a long time, basically at the end he saves his girlfriend, and he is the one that falls in the lake in order to kind of fix everything and put it how it's supposed to be. And so my theory is that it's possible that when he jumped in the lake, he actually was kind of overtaken by the darkness and subsumed by the lake. I'm definitely curious to see if this is the case, and considering at the beginning we play a character that kind of comes out of the lake and then is killed by the cold, it seems like that might be the case. And on top of that, we see that Alan Wake again is the one writing these pages, so he has to be alive somewhere, at the very least in spirit form. There are some really weird jump scares that I think kind of work at times, but obviously jump scares are extremely overdone, so it probably works for like the first time that it pops up because it's just really unexpected. However, it's nothing too crazy intense and only works really that one time. On top of that, I want to say this game looks fucking amazing. It's super immersive, and on top of that, it has a really good foliage. The character models are extremely detailed. Like, even, for example, the curly hair of our detective character is super detailed. It's very interesting to be able to immerse ourselves in these crazy, crazy worlds now, considering how far all these graphics have come. I think one of the main things is that, we've had a couple of glitches when it comes to audio right now, and when I looked over at Reddit, it seems like audio glitches seem to be somewhat common in this game. However, you know, like one of the things that we'd have is the subtitles would be off, so like we just turned off the subtitles and turned them back on, and that would often fix it. Or sometimes the audio would be off, like their lips would be moving, but you know, the audio wouldn't be right there. So basically what we either would do would just kind of wait it out, and usually after the next cutscene, or you know, once the cutscene ends, usually it syncs back up. However, if it doesn't seem to sync back up, you can also just go ahead and exit out the game completely and reload. Obviously they'll probably put out a patch for this soon. However, that is pretty much the only glitches or bugs that we've experienced thus far. Nothing game breaking, and it all sets up a really cool story, and what I think is going to be a pretty fun game and a solid expansion on the first. I really enjoy that they tried to ramp up the variety of the game, and you know, decided that instead of just making it an action game, that they're going to be adding a lot of detective aspects, and I think the detective aspects really work, especially for this type of story. And considering that we're trying to, you know, investigate what happened to Wake, and Wake was trying to investigate the town and why it was being overcome by the darkness really in the first one. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this game is good or bad? Have you played it? Are you going to pick it up? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. So far, I'm going to go ahead and give the game a 3 out of 4. It's really fun. I think, you know, that little glitch there does take it down a little bit. However, I think this game definitely does have the potential to go all the way up to a 4, depending on how, you know, the story plays out and whatnot. So far, I think that they can do a really good job of setting up this creepy atmosphere and really getting this world to feel, you know, dark and in despair. And I think they've done a good job of starting it off in a way that's really creepy and unsettling, and does a good job of setting the tone for the rest of the game. Alright guys, so once again, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Besides that, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That'll pop up during the outro. The rest of our links are down in the description too. We have Gamin sessions here for more gaming content. We have Smokin sessions for movie news and reviews. You know, we try to get content out there daily. We also have movie sessions where we try to put out daily trailer review content. And we also have Tripodcast, where we put out our podcast with Peter and my boy Jason. Alright guys, I will see you all in the next one.
Abducted by my brain and it drains all the dopamine. Pain leaving nothing but the dreams that have been holding me. Reality cracks and it falls at the openings. Blasted out center just to see all the broken dreams. Trapped in a track to be feeling like an acid dream. Feeling like I'm floor keeper casting me snitch on reality glitches. Retaliate wish, turn the mountain upside down to